Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the body of a woman found dead on the University of Georgia campus yesterday has been identified. And former President Trump and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley prepare to face off in the South Carolina presidential primary tomorrow.
And a cool down is on the way tomorrow. Your weekend forecast coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A University of Georgia spokesperson says a person of interest is being questioned after authorities identified the body of a nursing student. She was found yesterday near a lake and a popular jogging path at the University of Georgia. Authorities suspect foul play. And as CNN's Mike Valerio reports, students are now being urged to travel in groups as police investigate.
I want to start off by saying that this is a tragic day.
It's a loss felt across two college campuses. 22-year-old Laken Hope Riley found dead Thursday on the University of Georgia's campus in Athens. Riley was a nursing student on the dean's list at nearby Augusta University.
There is no higher priority at the University of Georgia than the safety and security of our campus community.
Police said Riley went for a run Thursday morning, but her friend became worried when Riley didn't come home. About a half hour after a friend called 911, police found the nursing student's body near a jogging path and a lake on UGA's campus.
It's usually really busy. People bring their dogs and their friends. It's usually a super social place, so it's definitely not somewhere that I ever thought was unsafe.
As far as in my knowledge, there has not been a homicide in the last 20 years here on campus.
All classes on the University of Georgia's Athens campus are canceled Friday, and Augusta University also canceled Friday classes at its College of Nursing campus in Athens. Officials said Riley's cause and manner of death are pending an examination of the body. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
3 University of Wyoming swim and dive team student athletes were killed in a one-vehicle crash. The Colorado State Patrol says they died near the Wyoming-Colorado border yesterday afternoon. Of the 3 that died, 19-year-old Charlie Clark was a sophomore on the men's team, 21-year-old Luke Slabber was a junior, and 18-year-old Carson Muir was a freshman on the women's team. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. The suspect in the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs murders was denied a bond reduction at a court appearance today. 25-year-old Nicholas Jordan is accused of shooting 2 people in a dorm room at the university last week. The prosecution argued that his bail should not be reduced given that the Detroit native did not turn himself in but instead ran for 3 days after the crime. Jordan has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. A record meth bust at the border. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says officers seized 6.5 tons of methamphetamine valued at $117 million in a single enforcement action Sunday. The agency says it's the largest meth seizure recorded at a port of entry. The seizure happened at the Camino Real International Bridge between Mexico and Texas. A CBP field operations officer referred a tractor trailer for a secondary inspection. The founder of a Catholic nonprofit organization that provides food and shelter to migrants is firing back at the Texas Attorney General. Kim Paxton is suing to shut down Anunciation House in El Paso. The lawsuit filed earlier this week accuses the organization of helping undocumented people enter the U.S., human smuggling, and operating a stash house. The shelter's director has called the lawsuit an unprecedented assault. Both parties are due back in court next month.
We are tracking a mixed bag of weather on this Friday. Most of us getting some dry weather and some sunshine, but some of us getting some showers. Also a thunderstorm at this hour. Zooming into a thunderstorm pushing into Letcher County. A first alert for Whitesburg. Some heavier showers not too far away. Nothing severe, but again, some heavy showers knocking on the door there. Also watching out for a heavier shower not too far away from Dorton over in Pike County. And some more light sprinkles in Pike County pushing into Dickinson, also Buchanan County, and into Mingo and Logan County to this hour over in West Virginia. Those temperatures are mild once again, most of us in the middle to upper 50s and a few lower 60s as well, up to 61 for Manchester, 59 for Jackson, also Harlan, And 56 over in Pikeville at this hour. Now we are watching out for this next weather system, this area of low pressure, also a cold front close to Chicago, producing some wintry mix, also some snow showers that will continue pushing off to the south and east as we go into tomorrow. So we are watching out for some cooler weather, also possibly some wintry weather as we kick off your weekend. Low temperatures this evening are chilly. We're back in the middle to upper 30s and a few lower 40s as well. Most of us are dry overnight, a small chance of a passing sprinkle, but again, higher chances on the way as we go into tomorrow. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. South Carolina's Republican primary is tomorrow. Polls show former President Donald Trump with a large lead over Nikki Haley in her home state. But the former South Carolina governor is vowing to stay in the race no matter Saturday's outcome. CBS's Erica Brown reports from Washington.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is making her final pitch to voters before the state's Republican presidential primary Saturday.
So now we have a decision to make. Do we want more of the same, or do we want to go in a new direction?
Polls show she trails former President Trump by more than 30 points in her home state, but has vowed to stay in the race, arguing she has a better chance than Trump of defeating President Biden in November.
Donald Trump cannot win a general election.
Trump focused on a potential rematch with President Biden, not the Republican primary, as he rallied supporters in Tennessee Thursday.
The restoration of law and justice in America begins with firing crooked Joe Biden on November 5th, 2024. If we don't fire him, our country, I believe, is doomed.
And Nikki Haley's supporters tell CBS News they believe she should stay in the race as an alternative to Donald Trump, who is facing a series of legal challenges this election year. Many South Carolina voters we spoke to have their minds made up, but not all.
I think Trump's got it in the bag, and she's wasting her time.
She's a smart lady. She works hard.
I really have not made a full decision on who I'm going to vote for on Saturday.
But a recent CBS News poll finds most Republican primary voters in South Carolina are firmly supporting one candidate. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
President Biden easily won South Carolina's Democratic primary earlier this month. Democrats have their next primary on Tuesday in Michigan. Lawyers for former President Trump are trying to get another case against him dismissed. They filed several motions in hopes of throwing out the classified documents case against him in Florida yesterday. His attorney cited presidential immunity, among other things, for the reason. They also say special counsel Jack Smith was unlawfully appointed. A new CNN poll of polls average found President Biden's job approval rating among U.S. adults stands at 39%. Meanwhile, 57% disapprove of the job he's doing. President Biden's national approval rating has been largely stable in the poll of polls average. It's remained in the high 30s or low 40s for more than a year now. The President, the First Lady, and the Vice President welcomed the nation's governors to the White House, who are at the nation's capital for the National Governors Association winter meeting today. First Lady Jill Biden addressed the room of state leaders to talk about Utah Governor Spencer Cox's initiative, Disagree Better. During her brief remarks, Biden recalled something that Vermont Governor Phil Scott, a Republican, had told her when she visited his state last year.
Pure partisan politics has never contributed to real solutions, and that we can and should prioritize progress over politics, especially on issues where the majority of Americans agree. That majority is an exhausted one.
Vice President Kamala Harris also spoke, announcing that the Biden administration is giving a total of $10 billion to states across the nation to invest in small businesses. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear was among those attending today. Tennessee lawmaker Gloria Johnson wants to raise the state's minimum wage. She has introduced a bill to raise Tennessee's minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $20. This would give Tennessee the highest minimum wage in the country, but the lawmaker from Knoxville says every penny is badly needed.
We are behind. People are struggling to keep the lights on and keep food on the table.
Johnson filed the bill that previously failed 2 years ago. If the bill passes this time, Tennessee would have the highest minimum wage in the nation by more than $3 an hour. The Supreme Court is now taking up Texas and Florida laws that would prohibit social media companies from censoring content. Republican lawmakers in both states are concerned companies are suppressing conservative viewpoints. Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis are some of the Republicans going to bat, seeking to limit social media companies' ability to censor content. Republican state lawmakers passed the laws around the time Trump was ousted from Twitter.
The concern has been that if people aren't getting all the information, if there's a distortion, that some of it is censored and kept out, that the resulting policies will also be imperfect.
Proponents of the laws say big tech should not be able to control the public discourse by silencing certain viewpoints. Those against the laws say most users' social media experience is improved by companies limiting things like hate speech or illegal activity. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, we find out if a device designed to keep items from getting stale does what it's supposed to do.
And some snowflakes are possible by tomorrow. Your first alert forecast after this break.